Welcome to my anime only challenge, and today is going to be an interesting one as it's going to be one of my most likely highest quality videos that I've ever made. So I hope you enjoy, and I'll explain all the rules later on. Now I picked one of our two MCs, Aether or Lumine. So I chose Aether as he has higher sprinting speeds and longer legs. After picking Aether, I then named him Windy because Windy is the same thing as Animo. You know? Get it? Wind, Animo. You see the link? Okay. Then I spawned onto the beach and immediately started killing a hydro slime that spawned and claimed the waypoint that's nearby. So, to be exact, I can only use animal characters in this challenge, but to be more specific, I can only attack enemies and do world quests with animal characters. I am allowed to use any other character for exploration, meaning I can use other characters with their passives if they allow me to find ores or anything in a specific region. I'm allowed to use them even if they're not animal. I can use other characters that are not animal in a challenge if I am unable to use Swirl or I'm unable to, complete a quest with it. I can only use the exceptions for those characters in only specific emergencies. To be exact, in only times I'm unable to. And if I use a character that I don't have permission to, I will have to take a punishment. I'm still not sure on what punishments it is yet, but if you guys are able to give me suggestions in the comments, then I'll take it. Now that we're done with those boring rules, we can now go on and talk about how I just quickly went and touched the Statue of the Seven and got our first animal character of the run, Traveler. So yeah, here are the pros and cons about using Traveler though. Starting off, it's Traveler, so they don't really have that much damage output, and also Animal Traveler is not really the best due to a lot of factors, as the burst does not have the best targeting, and also it flings enemies way too far away and is way too short. So that's one con. But a benefit to Traveler is, they're pretty easy to build and that they do pretty much enough damage for early runs of the game, but later on we do need to manage to get new characters like Scaramouche or something, because I don't think we will be able to manage on without them. Now, as at the start of the challenge, I decided to start farming chests and getting some XP early on, as it's the best way for me to avoid getting AR locked by some quests, and it can just be a constant smooth flow of just, gameplay. As we were exploring, we finally met Venti and Dvalin in this, to be honest, really nice, well-made cutscene. So, as we did that, we kinda messed it up, that conversation, and now Dvalin's pissed and Venti just stares at us and just gets upset also. And he immediately dips also. Oh well. Once Dvalin disappeared, we found one of his tears, and for some reason we believe it's a good idea to just put it in our pocket and just pretend that thing isn't at all dangerous. Very smart, Traveler, very smart. This is definitely how someone's gonna find their sister. But as we continued, we got stopped by Amber, and and of course, since we met Amber, we obviously have to go palm on emergency food, because is the funniest line in the game. And now we're at the first cant of this challenge, as we're forced to use Amber as we can't move or even leave the scene. So we have to use her, and of course I missed my shot, and yeah. But this will be the last time we see Amber, so immediately getting yeeted out of the party. As we continued on, we cleared a helitro camp, and that was not too challenging, pretty easy. Traveler can easily solo this, so not much to talk about. Skipping forward, we now finally enter the city of Mondstadt, and we get this pretty cool animation, but of course it's pre-rendered, so yeah. While I was doing my gliding exam, I immediately get jumped by Dvalin, who just comes up into the air, and a mysterious voice just comes in and just tells us in our ear to, quote, light this bitch up and air it out. So we immediately started showing Dvalin the full wrath of the United States when they find out there's oil in Mondstadt. After I finished talking to Jean and Lisa, I decided to do character trials, as they're the easiest and quickest form of getting Primo Gems early game, and I allowed this on the challenge as I don't affect any story and it doesn't affect gameplay at all. Also, random tangent, but like, am I the only one who finds Sithos's design to be like really cool? Cause like, I enjoy how he's designed, and also I don't really hate his gameplay wise. It seems to be pretty fun. Maybe I should have pulled for him on my main account. Better luck next time, I guess. After doing character trials, I decided to pull on standard banner instead of Noel banner, as I wasn't really interested in any of the characters that was on Noel banner, and I decided, let me just test my luck on trying to get at least a good 5-star. You know, because there's a chance I could have gotten Jean, so oh well. But instead I got a Yao Yao, and as she's not an Animo character, I immediately just got rid of her. Continuing on, I then started Amber's domain and started to clear it. As since we can't use any other characters besides Animo, I have to figure ways to go through the bushes, as well they're pretty easy to jump over, so there was that. I quickly defeated the Hilichos at this stage, and also managed to wipe out all the Hilichos in this area also. While there's that, I got some power infusion onto my character. Then I lit the Pyro Monument and activated the Wind Current. Also, there's actually a chest at the back of here. A lot of people don't actually know that and miss it. And it's a pretty good way of getting some AR XP, since it gives you 110. You're welcome for that little fact. After breaking the Dragon's Breath, we just talked to Amber real quick, and after this we went to Kaya's domain. On my way to Kaya's domain, I decided to activate the Statue of the Seven nearby, as it would be pretty useful to level up and also give it some animoculi to increase my stamina. I'd forgotten about this account, so I started playing on the newest patch 4.8, as so I managed to get some new rewards for second half of the phase patch for the new patch, and this led to me getting a few thousand Primo Gems, and also some Primo Gems due to the Nouvelet debuff as the apology rewards. And thanks to the Primogems that I acquired, it led to me managing to hit a tempo on standard banner, allowing me to get a sacrificial sword, which came pretty useful for my traveler. I then used some of the Stardust to get some more Primogems to pull on, and I decided to use it to get standard pull instead. And this led to me getting one of the best 4-stars for Animo only, which is Hazel, which to be honest shocked me, as I didn't expect to get a 4-star that was actually Animo or any good character at all. I thought I would have just gotten a weapon instead, but to be honest, I was pretty lucky. As soon as I got my Hazel, I immediately decided to wipe out an entire Helitro camp with him, and even at level 1, Hazel was doing good damage against these low level enemies, so I was pretty happy. Decided to give Hazel Emerald Orb, as it had Elemental Mastery, which allowed me to do more swirl damage to opponents, and its substats were pretty good, and I had a bunch of it so I could refine it, leading to me getting more attack out of it and more DPS. But sadly, I made the hardest ever shock that it came to me while it's doing this challenge. Hazel is sadly from Inazuma, so that means I cannot at all level him up at all. He is stuck at level 20 for the rest of this challenge until I reach Inazuma, meaning I am going to be stuck with a level 20 Hazel for the entirety of this playthrough. And the sad part is, there's not going to be a single new or even returning Animo 5-star in the next few patches. That means I'll have to continue playing the game and saving up my Primogems until Natlan gets released and they start rerunning the Archons, meaning I can at least manage to get Venti and be able to increase the roster. But this is going to be a low blow for all of us, and sad part is I'm not even guaranteed on the special banner, so that means we're gonna be stuck with a level 20 Hazel, and I just have to pray that I win my 50-50. No one said challenges were supposed to be easy, so it is what it is. Over at Kaya's domain, things were pretty chill, as it was pretty much easy. There was a lot of elements for me to swirl with Hydro and Pyro there, so it was going pretty well. First stage was easy and nothing really was needed, but this stage was just hell. No matter what I tried to jump over the spikes. I managed to succeed once, but then on my second attempt I just died over and over. I couldn't mentally handle it, so I just gave up and used Kaya here. So that is one failure that I can never forgive myself on. Besides me struggling at that point, the rest of Kaya's domain was really easy, so after beating Kaya's temple, I went onto Lisa's. And since I suck at the game, I decided not to do the Lisa skip and just play the domain normally, because I knew that I would just find a way to mess it up. And here was another can't that I couldn't do since I have to use Lisa to activate the electro monument. And of course I made a mistake as the game forced me to use Lisa's skill because it had given me a tutorial, and my dumbass said, perfect, use Lisa's skill. But besides that mess up, it went well. Besides my hazel getting flung, but all in all, it went okay, and the rest of the domain was also fun. Well, after that, I now decided to farm Animoculi as I needed the Adventurers XP for unlocking the rest of the Archon quest, and also it was a pretty good way of getting Primogems also, as I plan on saving them and waiting for Venti's next rerun to allow me to get a very good Animal 5-star. To be honest, Venti's pretty underrated for most characters, even though he has been, not being the greatest Animal 5-star since Kazuo got released. He's still a pretty good unit to use, so I think I'm gonna save my Primogems and pull for him, or if Kazuo comes first, then I'll get him. After a while, I just did some general exploration, just trying to complete some world quests, gain some Primogems and normal stuff. So I'm gonna just cut the video from here and I'll be back to you guys later. While I was exploring, I decided to unlock the island for the Abyss, as this would be handy for the future and could save me time later on. So after I was done exploring around the map, I decided to do Amber's story quest and complete it to just get the gliding license, and also to not get cock blocked in the future by the story saying that I have to finish her story quest first. Also, for some reason, this part of Amber's story quest just annoys me the most, because it's an unskippable cutscene that's like 3 minutes long, and it's extremely boring, especially if you've played the game multiple times by this point. It would be really helpful if the game just added a skip button or something to allow you to avoid redoing all these cutscenes, because this video is taking way too long to record and it is very painful to edit. Also, one of my favorite features that I found for Amber's domain was how it could launch bombs while it's gliding. To be honest, I'd actually want that feature back, as it would be pretty cool to do it, and also pretty fun to just air raid the Helichos and as payback for all the times they've sniped most players out of the air. And sadly again, we had to hit another can't. So we have to use Amber to attack the electro thingies to remove the water. Meaning, we cannot beat Genshin Impact without using non-animal characters. This is one challenging challenge. After that, I started beating up Raptor, and my god, Hazel does so much damage early on, especially with his E. I was just shocked. Just hold it and you just get a big chunk of HP down. To be honest, this challenge might have an MVP, and it's most likely Hazel. After beating Amber's story quest, I decided to do the main story now, and we met up with Jean, who was talking to a member of the Fatui and planning on the assassination of the Valen. As so, we decided to go meet up with her in the Knights of Favonia's headquarters talking to Lisa. Once me and Paimon left the building, we noticed Venti and started chasing him around. Also, weird thing, how come Venti decides to jump over the wall in one section and then doesn't on the other? Like, it's kind of dumb. Like, if you already jumped over the wall, just jump over the other parts, because we already know you're like the Archon, and also you're literally an Animo user, so you should be able to do that. Once we caught the femboy, we then told us to teleport to the statue of the 7-Ed Windrise. And we reached a point of annoyance. Simply put, we now have to fight it out of the storm. And since this is Animo only, it means that we can only use Animo against this thing and not anything else. And since it has Animo resistance, I had to use Traveler and just constantly attack it with physical damage. But since we're at a statue of the 7, we were basically getting free healing mid-fight, so besides that, we were basically immortal, meaning technically for 4 minutes and 11 seconds Traveler was technically a Kari. But I still managed to kill the Eye of the Storm, so at least I managed to survive that. And physical Traveler for the win. Woo! Saving Venti from the Eye of the Storm, I then went into the cathedral and planned on robbing the equivalent to the Holy Grail of Mondstadt. And of course, like a champ, I easily did it first try. I did not at all get caught within the first 10 seconds of me entering that room. After that embarrassing moment, we got to the Holy Lyre and immediately got robbed by an Electro System Mage. Also, for some reason, in the recording, all the voices are not recorded at all. Meaning, I don't know for how long, but I might as well have recorded the entire thing without a single character saying a single word. Perfect. I managed to screw myself over. Then we escaped from the cathedral because, well, simply put, we're being framed for robbing it. And whilst we escape, we then hide in D-Luke's bar, where the guards just simply don't at all bother looking around to make sure that the criminals aren't actually hiding inside. Seriously, so this is where all the tax dollars from Mondstadt citizens goes. I see why D-Luke hates them. Once we get into D-Luke's bar, we then have an emergency meeting with Jean and D-Luke, talking about how we deal with the storm terror situation and how we can fix, well, Venti's lyre. As so, we now have to go to 3 different locations and claim some of the Valen's tears and then purify them to meet up with the Valen and then see if we can fix him up with some of Venti's slapping music. Once we enter the Fatui domain, we meet this Fatui guard who is about to piss his pants just from the lightest sound. And he has a stupid wooden sword. Who hired this guy? Send him back. Send bro back to Shiznaya. He does not need to be working. And now a fight that was surprisingly slightly tricky. It was me versus the Pyro Assassin, which was, well, pretty hard for a little bit due to some of my characters not being able to target them while they're invisible. But lucky for me, I managed to trap it in a corner, then I just started jumping it. And after a few good hits, I easily cleared the floor. So once we finished that area, we then went over to the temple where we had to fight a ruin guard, which was pretty easy as it didn't use its missile attacks and I already memorized all its movesets, so it's pretty easy to dodge. So I don't know, this was an easy area to beat. Once we finished that, I then went to the domain and started taking out all the Elytros and opponents, which again was an easy clear. So why am I talking about this? I don't know, but content is. Yeah, and now that we're done, we can now claim the final tier for this challenge, and we can finally save Dvalin. I really thought Dvalin would like that song, but it seems that he really hates it. Oh well. Seems that dragons don't have good taste in music at all. So I think I'm gonna just take a break from now, since this video is already getting long and I don't want you guys to just spend an entire hour watching. So I'm gonna just stop the video from here and we'll just have to wait for the next part, which will probably come out either next week or 2 weeks after. Oh well, but thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.